Okay, so we are back on the Argosy today. It's a little bright out. It's actually a really good day to be working. I've got a few little things done in there that I want to go show you guys that I did not film. This is going to be a little bit of a different video in the fact that we're just kind of tidying up some stuff, doing just a bunch of random small things to move on to bigger things. Another thing we got to do, if you can see up there, I've been cleaning the roof. That's a bucket of water, but it's probably hard to make out. There is a vent pipe now poking out of the roof. And I'm a little concerned about where my solar panels are going to hit with that. If it actually drilled through one of the solar panel tracks, which I think it hits in the right spot, but we're about to find out. I've got some panels pulled out. These panels have been in storage for, I don't know, a long time, since Nate was here. I took them all off to paint it. I pulled out some panels. We're going to climb back up. Hopefully I can figure out how these were wired, and we're going to remount those, just so I know that that vent pipe's not going to be an issue. Let me take you inside real quick and show you kind of some of the things that have gotten done since the last video. Remember the last video we did some more of the walls, more framing out, and I did a lot of finishing. So let's go check it out. My dad's in here studying up on how to install furnaces. Are those the actual instructions?
Yeah, these are the instructions. It's a little bit hard to understand.
Are they in English?
They're in English.
They're just confusing. Okay.
They're
so
also in French.
Are they? You don't speak French?
No.
No, neither do I. I can't help
today.
you. That's the furnace. We're going to wire that in. We also got to run propane, but that's a little bit down the road. If you remember, we did this countertop in the last video, so it's a real cool addition. So we've got the sidewall here. Got varnish on it. It looks really nice. This is just, it's a long process to do the varnish because it takes a while to dry, but it's really nice. It's one of the reasons why I wanted to do these separate and bring them in, because I can finish these in the shop. It's way easier than finishing them when they're vertical and set like this. I got this one finished, the side panel finished, and this is all set and in place and sturdy. This is our fridge cabinet, so I'm going to work on a face frame for this video, and then this is going to be our pantry. These are all finished. Everything's ready to go there, so we're good there. We also, this little side thing for our bunk is all finished out. So a lot of finish work, which you guys have seen. It's not super exciting. And then we've got a vent pipe. My dad ran this one. That's the one I was just talking about that might possibly run into our solar panel. I also mentioned another pretty awesome thing my dad set up is he ran a power line from the battery to the marker lights and trailer lights, and then he wired in a switch. This is where I do my water fill. We now have a switch right here, and that'll turn on marker lights. Now the real purpose for that is to turn on these, which powers the two side cameras and the rear camera. So when I'm backing my trailer into that tight space, I have cameras, and it's super helpful. So that's a pretty cool added feature, gotta say. Pretty appreciative of that. Okay, so yesterday I was up on the roof getting the panels back on, and they are on. I've still got a little bit of work to do to fully secure them. We're going to have to add a bit to that back one because of the vent roof, but I want to go back up there because I did leave all my stuff up there for one. But also, it's really hard to film when you're up on the roof, especially when you're starting to get panels up there. You got an AC unit. Last time I was up there, I didn't have the AC unit. It was a little easier to walk around. Now it's getting much more difficult with all the stuff up there. So I want to go back up there, try to kind of show you guys the ropes on how that all worked, that setup, And then we're gonna go back into the trailer and start working on hooking up all of our drain pipes for the sink and the vent, the 2 vents. So we got a vent for the black tank and a vent. We got 3 vents. We got a vent for each gray tank and a vent for the black tank. So let's head up on the camper. All right. Tell you what, it's hot for December, friends. Whoa, that was a tricky step. Okay, so quick rundown. You kind of saw yesterday how these brackets were going on, and I just got to come back now. These, I mean, basically they slide in the T-track and they tighten down. I got these at McMaster Car. I found those, and then the T-tracks I ordered on Amazon. I can link that in the description. Basically, we run a negative line all the way down with these panels, and then back. The positive comes all the way back into the positive side. So I have 2 connections at each end down there, and the same thing happens down here, but we're going positive all the way down these panels and then back with a long run of negative. I've got to figure out a way to manage these wires a little bit better. So you have a double connection on the negative, a double on the positive. I really couldn't tell you much more than that, other than that's how Nate hooked it all up, and I just followed his lead on this. I'm gonna need this guy. So like I mentioned, we've got to cut out, probably gonna have to cut this track here, and then I've got this little fancy dude that'll drop right on. So that is really my next step here. We're gonna clean up here, and then I'm gonna cut this pipe and get this bad boy on there. Cut that pipe. 2 3/4. That's about as crooked as you can cut it. Got it. Okay, it's not the prettiest looking bit of work, but it's done. You can see that's where the track was. I put these tracks up before I painted the trailer top, so that's why you see primer under there. So what I'll probably have to do is come back. I need to make sure this is sanded down and touched up and painted well, so that moisture doesn't get up under the existing paint. So that's going to take a little bit of work. So because of that, I'm going to go ahead and pump the brakes on this. I'm just going to leave this sitting there, and then at some point in the future I'll get it done. I do need to put screen mesh on this to keep any bugs from going in. Probably should square this cut because it's pretty dang out of square. And then we'll put a little butyl tape under there and pop some rivets and have that done. And now this is secured. This panel is not coming off, and we have room for our vent now. Ideally, you know, what my original plan was to do like I did here, but things don't always go to plan, as I've learned on this trailer, and this is just one of those incidents. Okay, so I want to take a real quick break to tell you about today's sponsor, Simply Safe. They have been long-term supporters of my channel, and I'm very thankful for them. And you're going to want to stick with me on this one because I have something in my shop that is probably the coolest thing I've ever had in my shop, and I want to give you guys a little sneak peek, so let's head on in there. Simply Safe is an award-winning security system
that protects your home 24/7, and they're having their best deals of the year right now. Their holiday deal is 40% off or more, so there's never been a better time to make your home safe. Now, instead of dealing with lengthy setup times with traditional security systems, SimpliSafe allows you to custom design your system online and order it. It ships right to your door, and you set it up yourself. And the setup process is very quick and easy. You have door sensors to cover all your doors and windows. You have water sensors, you have smoke sensors, you have motion sensors, glass break sensors, cameras, both interior and exterior cameras. Now, one of my favorites is the doorbell camera, because I know when people come to my house, ring the doorbell, it shows up on my app. But they also have a new outdoor camera, which is pretty incredible, and I have set it up on my shop so I can keep an eye on the Argosy. Let's go take a look at that one real quick. There is my outdoor camera. It has an ultra wide 140-degree field of view, so you can keep watch over your entire outdoor space. 1080 HD resolution, and 8x zoom, and a built-in spotlight with color night vision, so you can closely capture what's happening around the clock. I like this camera because it focuses over here on the Argosy and on my garage, and it also has a wide enough field of view that it can catch the front door of the shop. All I've got to do is pull up my awesome SimpliSafe app, and there's the Argosy and the truck being watched 24/7. The system works right off this home base. Just for a second, this is Robert, my apprentice's box he's been working on. Pretty dang cool. He's got some dovetails going, a little bit of cool figured walnut, really cool little box that goes inside with some quartered cypress. So if I want to, I can arm this home, and the base station turns on the system. So home allows me to be in the shop working and not set the alarm off with the motion sensors, but the entry sensors are all armed. I never use this in my shop, obviously, but in my house at night, I always use the home feature. There's also obviously the away, which arms everything and completely secures the building. Okay, so I gave you guys a little bit of a tease. I'm gonna fall through that right now. It's gonna be pretty quick because I don't wanna give away too much. This is gonna be coming in an upcoming video, but here you have it. Boom. Pretty cool, huh? Now, that's one of the great reasons why I have SimpliSafe, is because I can protect things in my shop that need to be protected, and it makes me feel a lot better knowing that I have security cameras covering this shop and building. Now is the best time to order your system because of the holiday deal. You get 40% off or more. Just go to simplisafe.com/Andy Rawls. Now, not only will you get an amazing security system, you can also help support my channel by supporting my sponsors. SimpliSafe is a great sponsor. They've been with me for many years, and I've been using their system for the whole time, and I have no complaints. So I wouldn't lead you guys wrong on this. And now's the time to do it because you got such a great deal going on. A huge thanks to SimpliSafe for supporting the channel. Let's get back to this Argosy.
Like I would have been running off.
Oh yeah.
You get it all dirty with your boots.
That looks pretty good. It
Yeah.
doesn't fall down.
No. You gotta build a little ladder to.
I don't know, I gotta put a step there, but there's also gonna be a cabinet.
So it's gonna be a pretty,
It's gonna be like this.
pretty claustrophobic little.
It's like a submarine or something. Yeah, I'll have to put a step right here or some kind. I mean, getting down is not hard. Yesterday we got the sink all set and everything is in place, and my dad went ahead and got the P-trap in, so you can kind of see what's going on down here. We've got kind of a whole flexible P-trap, which is kind of cool, and we've got the water lines here with valves. This will drain under this cabinet. There's a little hole right there
which will connect into this pipe, come down, and then go into my gray tank right here. Okay, so once I got the sink drain all kind of plumbed in, we tested out, everything worked great. We transitioned from the plumbing to knocking out the face frame right here for the fridge. And basically just laid it out on the floor. So I just used my Festool Domino for the joinery on this. It works great on face frames. It puts a little kind of floating tenon at each joint, glue that up, and it's pretty dang strong. So once I had it all glued up, I had Robert take over and do the sanding on it. He ran it through the wide belt, then hand sanded it, and then we cut it to length. One of the things on this, obviously, is it's coming up on the curve of that trailer, so there is a bevel on the back side of the face frame. So I just set my bevel up on the cabinet, and then took that over to the table saw and transferred that angle to the table saw blade, and then we cut it, and it was a little oversized to start, and that was planned. We didn't want it to fit tight. After a little bit of trimming, we got it dialed in, and it fit just right.
What's up, Mayor?
I think what we're gonna have to do is pull all these wires to here and take that, because I mean that's right on. Things are falling.
Is that important?
Oh, you're gonna go from the inside. That's smart, man. We're pretty tight there. What do you think? Maybe it's gonna be at least a half an inch, right?
I don't know. Sometimes it's hard to tell because of the angle.
Yeah, it's really hard to tell. It's a
Right.
guessing game. Well, I think what we do is just go to the table saw and maybe trim a quarter, see where that gets us. Don't think my dad's gonna like this. This is all his work. I have no idea what any of these wires go to whatsoever. Hey, buddy, you wanna come on in?
Never Paul.
Pop's in here.
Oh, Pop in this. Please.
It's kinda hard to do. Okay, so we got this face frame all mounted. It basically is just screwing in here. I didn't have enough screws, so I've got a lot more screws to put in that, but it adds some stability. You know, this is pretty thin plywood here. When we add the box in there, it'll help too as well. This is a little bit stable, more stable and less flimsy now. And the fridge slides into this opening and actually has a lip that screws around to this. So once you screw that fridge in there, these will be really solid. And that's gonna be our next step, is to get the fridge set in there. Before we do that, I need to put a few more rivets in the brackets. This is a switch here, which is a little bit dark in here. Yeah, these are wires for a switch for step light outside. So that's gonna switch like right around in here. I haven't found the switch I want to use yet. So those wires, I need to drill a hole and get those wires through. And then we can put the fridge in and hook it all up. And I'm gonna put a giant piece of cardboard over it and write a sign that says, "Please do not touch," because I know my kids will mess it up. A lot of the reason why this video didn't get quite as much accomplished was because of these guys right here. This is a sea level gauge. This is a tape monitor. Way back when I started this project, and I had the shell off and I had the frame flipped upside down. We were putting in gray tanks and black tanks. So I have 2 gray tanks in this camper and 1 black tank, and each one of them has one of these sensors on it. And there's specific ways you have to install these. You have to cut them to length, and you have to slip a little tab on top to tell basically the monitor what tank it's attached to. So we finally got to a point this week in this video where we could test the monitor and see if it actually was communicating with the senders on the tanks, and turns out it wasn't working at all. We had zero power even to the monitor, and it was very confusing. My dad spent probably 2 full days just troubleshooting, going through diagnostics and trying to eliminate problems. And so we're going to walk through that footage real quick of us kind of troubleshooting this. What ended up having to happen is we ended up having to cut a hole in the floor where the gray tank was and actually replacing that sender because it wasn't correctly done. And that's eventually what we found out. I think we're going to have to make a cut here so we can get our hand in there.
Would it be better to maybe cut this right here? And you're never going to see this underneath.
Yeah, I really don't care if I have to cut it. I mean, being able to access that's probably a good thing anyway. But this looks to me like the factory sensor wire.
No, the factory sensor wire wasn't that long. But yeah, you're right, because
it looks like it is.
It does, doesn't it? Because we don't have enough blue.
And this is because this is a smaller gauge. It has to be and that's it there, and you jumped it. So you think that splice is bad?
Well, I don't think so. If we cut that splice out of there, we're not going to have much room to splice back in.
That looks like the sensor. Look at that.
Yeah, you know it. You're right, because that's 18 gauge.
Yeah, and this is another sensor wire.
Uh-huh. So that sensor must be right up underneath here.
So it's got, the only thing it could be is that splice.
Yeah. Unless there's something wrong with one of these wires going that way.
Yeah,
there's not.
Well, no, because then the black tank wouldn't work.
Yeah, you're right.
To get this cut like that, so you can kind of.
It might help if it were cut, because you've got about an inch here.
Yeah.
That would allow you a little bit more room to work with, and then we could redo that connection.
And the only thing it could be is that sensor, right?
Yep.
Now once we got the hole in the floor and I was able to reach down in there, we pulled off the old sensor, and sure enough, it had been clipped incorrectly, which is really confusing to me because I pulled up the old footage for when I originally did cut this, and it looked like I only cut with the chisel on the gray tank tab. You can see this has multiple tabs, 1, 2, and 3. This is the black tank tab. This is something else, and this is gray tank, and all 3 of these have been cut, which is why this sender wasn't working. So luckily enough, I had a few extras. I still have 1 extra, and they actually cut to a little bit better length than this one. And so I ended up just putting a new sensor on and wiring it up, and it worked like a charm. So a pretty small problem in the grand scheme of things, and I'm just glad that we got it all figured out and worked. And I'm pumped to have the gauges on the trailer. Sea Level did provide these for me a very long time ago. I've been sitting on these gauges for a while, so it's cool to see them working now, and I appreciate them helping out and supplying the gauges for the tanks. It's the same thing I went through with Robert. Because I tried to step on it and I didn't have the legs.
Okay.
Yeah, just be careful on that.
Okay. Now I think it's doable.
You're gonna be dead. Alright.
Yeah. Set it down now.
Let me get in a little bit of ways toward steady, and then I'll go get the camera and bring it into the trailer.
Perfect.
Now it's all in, it fits, fits really well, and it looks awesome. I'm pumped to have this in. I'm pumped that it's all there. I think there's some work to do. We need to get the trailer on level ground, and probably work on the platform that's holding it. We did do some shimming on it, but I think we've got it wrong. If you look kind of at the reveals, especially right here, you got a pretty big gap and it gets pretty small. So I think it's a little bit tweaked. So we just got a little work to do to get it all fitted in there. I don't know much about these fridges, but I would assume, considering how much I paid for it, that those reveals should be nice and clean and look pretty and not look like the thing's tweaked or out of square. It's not wired, it's not set up yet. My dad's gonna tackle that because he's really good at that, and we've got to get some inline fuses. You can come around back. There's chewing on something. And this actually has a 120 volt and 12 volt. Now we're gonna hook it up 12 volt. Right here we'll put a little switch for it and hook everything up and make it nice and clean so I can switch it on and off right here. And that's it. It's in there. You've got a little bit of space. It's hard to see because it's dark, but a little bit of room for ventilation going through there. So we can scratch the fridge cabinet pretty much off the list. I got a little bit of work to do. Up here we got to put a little shelf in, which should be pretty simple, and then build out this control panel and a little storage right here. It's looking great. I'm pumped, man. I think this looks really nice. I love the clean look of the wood right on the stainless steel. So, and this fridge has got quite a bit of room. We can fit quite a bit in here for the kiddos, because let me tell you something, my kids eat a lot of food. Okay, to close it down, I do need to ask you guys for your help once again. You guys have helped me out quite a bit on this, and I'm so close. I feel like I'm almost seeing light at the end of the tunnel on this. The next major hurdle is this bathroom. Now I can handle the sink, the vanity, all that, but I am just not sure what to do about the shower. My original plan was to have a stainless steel whole shower fabricated and put in, but it is way over budget for what I can pay for it. I got some prices and it's just super expensive. So I've seen some people tile in showers, and I just feel like that's a really bad idea. I feel like it's heavy. I feel like it's going to fall apart running down the road, so I just don't like that option. If y'all have any suggestions, I would love to hear them in the comments. I need to build, obviously, a shower pan to step over that wheel well, and then I just need to waterproof the walls and basically get it all closed in. I mean, basically, you're going to have a door right about here. You'll walk in, your sink's right here, and then you'll step right into your shower. So, I've been doing a lot of research and I just haven't come up with a solution yet. So hopefully you guys can come up with something cool. Leave me a comment, let me know. For me, really the next thing I'm going to probably start doing, depending on what you guys leave me in the comments on the showers, I'm going to go ahead and start building out all the cabinet boxes, basically for the sink area, the bed area, and the pantry. I mean, I can knock that out pretty quick. I got the CNC and a full wood shop, so that's something I can knock through pretty fast. I have two upper cabinets to build. Those might take a little bit of effort and time, but they're not like high priority. The next high priority would be, after I do the cabinet boxes, is I'm going to build I had a really cool plan for this to finish out this space. We got to get a table in here that's going to be kind of modular and adjustable to where it can go almost the full length, and it'll drop down, obviously, so we can get a pretty good sized bed in here. And then I've got a wraparound shelf to build right there. So that's the next. That and the shower are the two really big ticket items before this thing is pretty close to finish. So getting closer. I mean, I kind of given myself spring break. I want to use this thing, and I'm really hoping I can do it. I think that having done this for 2 years and realizing how much work this camper is, I mean, I'm not going to hold myself to that, but I'm going to try. I'm going to try really hard. I appreciate you guys tuning in. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Leave me a comment. I'll always love hearing what you guys think, especially about the shower. I need y'all's help there. As always, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you guys next time.